So, hello people of the world. I want to do one on forensic science history. The reason why is that this year an Aberdeen University graduate, I did my degree at Aberdeen University, who did anatomy, this year in 2023, called Dame Susan Black, was elected FRS, Fellow Royal Society. For basically creating a new revolution in forensic science and crime prosecution. So in anatomy, she's actually the university's second female to get to the Royal Society. She's created new and criminal prosecution. Okay? Where excuse me, her work has been to analyse skin blood vessel patterns. This isn't the prosecution of paedophiles, by the way. Skin blood vessel patterns, but also finger skin patterns. Okay? Apparently, unlike murderers and rapists and other criminals, thieves, paedophiles take photographs of themselves or their hands. I don't know anything else apart from that. I just heard it on a YouTube video. I guess murderers and rapists can leave evidence behind, but paedophiles apparently take photographs of themselves abusing the victims. So, which is why she does finger skin pattern analysis. Okay, so she's convicts paedophiles. So yeah, and I thought I'd give a quick summary of the major revolutions in criminal prosecution. In 1773, you had toxicology, where I think arsenic was some scientists developed methods of detecting arsenic in corpses. And then in 1780s stroke 90s, there's William Garrow, you may have heard of Garrow's Law, which was a TV drama broadcast about 13 years ago. He was an Old Bailey advocate who revolutionised criminal court cases by inventing defence in court. Okay? He created defence that really barely existed before then. And then in 1800, the police force was created in Glasgow initially, and then in the Met Police in London. So that's a pretty big change. Before then there was no police. There was no official government-centred regulated body, police that investigated crime, that were sort of thief catchers, but they were kind of more private. And then 1835, there was ballistics was invented, bullet mold comparisons, bullet stroke mold comparisons. Okay, and then in 1888 something called anthropometry, which is basically it's mugshots, taking photographs of people's faces and showing them to the victims. That must have been a big leap. And then in 1897 and 1900, those fingerprints were created. The Calcutta Fingerprint Bureau in London, fingerprints. Okay? And then also in 1901 there was an antigen antibody test, a test to detect proteins in blood called the it's basically a protein to antibody test that distinguishes between animals and humans. Okay? And then the next major massive revolution in crime investigation and prosecution came in 1984. Can you guess what this is going to be? This is probably a bigger leap in, I think what happened in 84 was probably the biggest leap in crime prevention, crime prosecution since fingerprints, I would say, because it was, I mean, I guess mugshots played a big part as well, but I think fingerprinting was a very precise way of identifying people, because everybody's fingerprints are different, and it's tough to fake them. And then there was William Garrow was probably the major revolution before then, and so there's the creation of the police force. I think these are the biggest leaps. But in 84, DNA fingerprinting was invented, which by Sir Alec Jeffreys, who got the Copley Medal, the Royal Society Copley Medal, which included this in it. And it convicted Colin Pitchfork. He was actually released last year, and then was then taken back to prison a few days later because he violated license. But I realised that when Colin Pitchfork was released last year, he was actually the first guy to be convicted of DNA fingerprinting. Although prior to him, somebody got acquitted. Somebody else had come forward claiming they'd done the murder he committed, but DNA fingerprinting actually showed this person hadn't done it. So that was a huge revolution. This has allowed detection and prosecutions which before were impossible, because it's allowed most minute amount of body tissue and DNA to be used to basically identify culprit. So yeah, so that's this is the history of forensics, which I just happen to know a little bit about, to watching Garrow's Law and the creation of police force and fingerprinting, and then DNA fingerprinting. These are the main revolutions, and then ballistics, mugshots, protein antibody testing. Before then, early on it was arsenic detection. Yeah, history of forensic science.